All right, I'm gonna go sit down here. Welcome back, Tiger fans. 5-minute warm-up ahead of this Saturday affair. It's going to be the Tigers against the Littleton squad. I believe this is the Littleton prospect squad, so their younger crew, I think all 13-year-old, or I guess that'd be the 2011 birth years, if I'm not mistaken, against our squad of mixed 10 and 11 birth years. If you pay attention to standings and that sort of thing, we are ranked higher than the team we're about to face. But this team doesn't back down from a challenge. If you watched the Rocky Mountain Hockey Federation showcase, that would have been the weekend where we were up in NOCO and played that team from Montana. This Littleton team did also play that team from Montana and was able to score a couple goals against them. So they don't back down. This team is out there to get better and be one of the top teams in the division as they progress. Our boys coming off a positive weekend winning that tournament. So hoping to build on the momentum this weekend. For anyone watching today but maybe trying to come to our game tomorrow against Mountain Select at World Arena, we did get notification right before this game that the Trans-Siberian Orchestra is playing 2 shows at World Arena tomorrow. So if you are planning to come to that game at World Arena, try and show up early, as traffic could be a little bit messy getting to the rink. Should be a full squad of skaters today for the Tigers. Nobody missing that I am aware of. That would mean 6 defensemen, 4 lines of forwards. Your camera crew today, we do have Noah for the start of the game. He might have to sneak out a little bit early as he's going to be working the Switchbacks Western Conference Championship match this evening here in Colorado Springs. So his call time is a little earlier, about 3 o'clock. So depending on how the game goes, he'll sneak out, but Laura is here to help out on the camera as well today. Going to try a couple angles for you, only 2 cameras, the one main at center ice and a camera hanging in the corner on the end that we should be shooting at twice. So hopefully seeing a lot of action from that static camera there. And then of course in that third period when Noah takes off, we may just stick with that center main camera for you. Looks like Landon was the last one in net for warm-ups there, so I assume he's going to be our goalie going today. But we'll double check that once the puck drop gets a little bit closer here in about a minute or 2. This is a league game, so we'll count toward our standings there. The horn sounds indicating the end of warm-ups. The boys are going to gather around the net, pick up the pucks, get themselves hyped up a little bit, and then head to the bench for some last-minute insights from the coaches. Three sets of stripes on the ice today. The orange band is the one that matters. The other two are going to be helping with things like offsides, icing, getting the puck dropped. The orange bands, in case you don't follow real closely, that means he's the one that gets to call the penalties. And so hopefully not a lot of action out of him today. Jalen's stepping onto the bench, which does tell me that Landon is going to be our goalie in the crease today. Looks like out to start for the Tigers is going to be Miles, Colton, and AJ. Your defense is going to be Josh and Jared. AJ here on the near wing. Colton going to take the drop. Miles on that far side wing. Jared nearest to you on defense, and big, tall Jared, number 54 there, back on the right D. As the Hawks make their signature noise, and we await the puck drop to start this game. Colton able to win that over. AJ gets his puck across center ice and into the zone. Colton going to crash below the goal line. Early contact there. As they're digging, puck does come up in front. Tigers can't corral that one, but Miles working on those far boards with Jared. Colton steps in. Jared does swat at it there, but bounces over his stick, pins the puck to the boards back into Jared's feet, and now into the zone for Littleton. Josh is going to get that and turn it up near side. He's being pressured, so a little bit of work to get that out of the zone as AJ tips it across the ice. Miles now going to have to pick up the effort to reconnect. That comes out of the zone, and Jared swats that backwards. Easton onto the ice for the Tigers, so quick change here. That's going to be Henry working the boards with Easton. Now stepping to the puck there, I believe, is Preston. Gets a shot that goes high and into the netting to the side of the net. Forwards are Preston, Easton, and Henry. Defense is going to be Jax and Marshall. And it looks like they're going to bring that faceoff out of the zone. It's going to be Henry taking the drop with Easton on the near wing. That is won back by the Tigers. Jax steps up to get it, leaves the puck there, swats it up toward Easton, who's going to have to go gather it in the corner. Sent up the boards, but not out. Collected there, skated in some, but knocked off Henry's stick, and now comes down and out of the zone. Not going to be icing, as that was touched by a Tiger, so Marshall having to work to go get it, turns it back up the near side. Sends that up the boards, bounces out to Easton, who looks, and sends it up out of the zone to the waiting Littleton player. Littleton dumps it. It's rimmed around. Marshall going to go gather in the corner. Gets past him briefly. He turns and is pressured, having to work to recollect from the Littleton player. Battle below the goal line. Puck squirted out. No Tigers can get to it. Now Marshall does. Sends it around the boards to Easton, who tries to chip that up and does get it out of the zone for the Tigers. Pressure there for Henry. Swatted into the zone for Preston as Henry's going for a change, as are a couple Tigers defenders. Cruin takes the contact there, but gets the puck up ice for the Tigers. Steven steps in on the boards. Easton and Steven working to regather the puck for the Tigers. That's thrown into the zone. Jared and Gavin on the ice for the Tigers. So Jared sends that up to Gavin on the near side here. Littleton able to hold the zone, send it down deep. Steven steps to that, causes enough interference that can be tapped forward from Jared to Steven. Steven now into the Tigers' end of the ice, takes it below the goal line. A little bit of a reverse hit there from Steven, worked out well. Hunter in the corner, battling for the puck with Gavin. Gavin comes away with it, gets it in, shoots near side where the goalie was waiting. Comes back to Cruin. Cruin takes his time, throws it in towards Steven. And that's going to go to the far side. Jared's going to have to work to hold the zone there. And Littleton flips that down the ice. That could go for an icing, but no, Littleton able to get there. Jared turns the puck the other direction, sends it to Gavin waiting in the far corner. That comes out to the center of the ice, a little bit of a dangerous spot here where Landon does have to turn that puck back to the corner. Cruin takes the hit. Gavin tries to get that up, but Littleton able to step and hold the zone there. Jared going to work to try and get it up the boards, does flip it up and out. That's going to be on net, so no icing as the Tigers make a change again here. Littleton sends it up, and that one will go for an icing. Tigers forwards are going to be Hunter's getting off the ice now, so Colton on the ice with, looks to be Brody and Tate. Colton, Brody, and Tate on the ice. Back on defense is Jack and Josh. So Colton taking the face-off. Some new lines today for the Tigers. Colton takes that drop. Goes back to Josh, deflected in front there by Colton, but the goalie able to send out to the corner. Tigers working in the corner, now below the goal line. Tried the centering pass, but the Hawks were there, able to get it and skate up ice with some speed here. The back check of the Tigers work. Now Josh going, he's got Colton, gets it to Colton, but Littleton able to just get that turned around. So the Tigers are getting the puck, getting it up ice, but just can't gain the zone clean right now. A couple of Tigers collide there. That's Tate working. Now Brody able to turn that at center ice. Littleton turns it. Waiting there was Josh, who taps it up and out of the zone. Littleton had to hold up to prevent the offsides there. Colton working. That does squirt into the zone for the Tigers. Josh collects, sends it back up ice. But a lot of those up ice passes, just Littleton's there, Tigers aren't. So we've got to find the open ice and create some space here if we're going to get anything going. This is Colton trying to chip it to himself, and now Miles able to gain the zone for the Tigers. Shot for Miles goes wide of the net. So Miles putting in some great work as the goalie covers that. Your Tigers on the ice are going to be Miles, AJ, Marshall, and Jax back on defense. It's going to be Henry as your center. So Miles, AJ, Henry. We may be down a man today. I'm trying to figure out who we're missing, but these lines are rotating a little bit. As Henry wins that, sent back. D-to-D pass there to Jax. Jax is going to have to go work that. Contact finished, but he's equal to it, stays on his feet. Tigers working below the goal line to try and pull that puck out. Miles works. AJ comes away with it, sends it to, that was a nice goal and some good effort by Henry to make it 1-0. AJ got it out. I believe that would have been Miles working on the boards. Got the puck out to AJ. AJ gets it to Henry waiting in front. Henry turns and just gets a backhander into the back of the net to make it 1-0 Tigers with 10:47 in the first period. Coach is going to leave the goal scoring line out there. Henry's going to take the drop. AJ on your near side, Miles to the far side. Jack's on your near D with Marshall on your far D, I believe. As Miles takes that puck forward, Henry taps it past the defender and is going to go gather on the boards. Does get rubbed off that puck, so AJ steps out, gets that. Miles throws it at the net, but the goalie sends it to the near side. Coming through the play there is Henry with some effort. Tigers are going to have to regain the zone. Miles sends that across to Marshall. Marshall taps it forward, and that's going to go for an icing. So a face-off in front of Landon. And Cruin onto the ice with Jared for your defense. Up front, it looks like it's going to be Preston, Easton, and Steven. Steven, your center for this line. We'll try and win this one back into the corner. Littleton had won that back, but some quality effort there by Easton to get the puck up and out of the zone. Steven pinning the player to the board there as Easton steps in to try and dig it out of skates. It does squirt loose, and Jared's going to fire that into the zone for a little chip and chase, although it does bounce back out. Preston now sending to Jared. Jared tries to get that back to Preston. Littleton able to get a stick in there and turn it back the other direction. So Steven on the back check. Jared able to steer the skater and take the puck. Jared sends that around to the near side boards. Preston now to Easton. Easton can't gather, so Jared recollects for the Tigers, gains center ice and sends it into the zone. Tigers working on the near side boards. That does get sent to the far side now. Up but not out. Jared hammers it back into the near side corner. Littleton sends it back around to that far side. Tried to chip it up there. Not able to hold the zone this time is Jared, so he's going to have to work at center ice as the Tigers are working to regroup. Littleton gets a change, as do a couple of Tigers. Littleton gains the zone, and the shot there goes wide near side. Chipped up there. Colton able to dig that puck down into the Tigers' end of the ice, onto the ice for the Tigers now is going to be Colton, joined by that's going to be Gavin, I believe. Flashing into the play there is Hunter. That puck stays in front. Hunter able to flash to it, not get there quite quick enough. This is going to be Jack playing defense there, able to get the puck back deeper into the zone. Josh on the near side D as Littleton throws that out. Josh is going to work for it. He's got pressure, loses his skates. Gavin there not able to get to it, so Littleton holds the zone but do lose the puck out. I take that back. It's below the goal line. A little bit of traffic in front of me. Couldn't quite see for a second there. But this is Hunter pressuring, trying to make things tough for Littleton. Josh gathers the puck, brings it off the board, sends it across to Gavin. Gavin up to Hunter. Hunter now just trying to throw that into the zone, does. Goalie sends it into the far side corner as Gavin pressures now Hunter's stick. Stops the puck, but he overskates a little bit. So now a back check here for Colton. And steered by, was going to be steered by Jack, but skater loses his feet there. Josh turns it back the other direction below the goal line and back now this way. Just trying to create some space to get that up toward Hunter. That comes out, so a little bit of a race as a backhand there, gets it back into the zone for Littleton. Josh turns, looks, chips it up toward Colton. And Littleton just keeps moving their feet. And that energy is something that the Tigers haven't been able to quite match just yet. Landon's going to go ahead and smother that with 7:24 in this first period. Tigers are up 1-0. Goal scored by Henry, assisted by AJ, and I believe second assist is going to be from Miles, though it was in a corner that I don't have a great angle at there. Onto the ice for the Tigers is, I believe, Jax is out there for defense. I believe we got Brody out there on one of your wings, so that probably means Tate, Brody. Henry had that step forward. I believe that's Brody working there in the corner. Tries to twist that puck, can't do it. Jax tips it out to Henry, who's now going to attack the puck carrier. That's going to be Marshall on the ice as well for your other D. So Jackson Marshall on for defense. Henry, Brody, and Tate, I believe, are your forward line. Is Littleton able to get that? They say offside, so we'll have a face-off just outside the zone. Almost able to hold the zone where were the Tigers, but it did just bounce out. 6:54 in this first period. That is one into the zone, goes toward the net, so Tigers are going to flash toward it. Puck batted back and forth below the goal line, and eventually Littleton gathers, skates it up and out of the zone. Collected at center ice there, and that'll be an offsides now for Littleton, so a face-off right in front of me. It's going to be Kroon and Jared coming on for defense. AJ, Miles, and Steven will be your forwards. We might be rotating 3 at center, it looks like. So we are probably a man down. I don't know that I've seen Teague today, so we might be without Teague. And so rotating 3 centers, 4 wings on the left, 4 wings on the right. As Kroon takes that, sends it to Miles. Miles now to AJ, and AJ's going to have to work to gain the blue line, does, but puck turned over, now working on the boards. AJ tries to chip that past, but can't. And so Littleton going to gain the zone. Steven comes over hard, sends a shoulder-to-shoulder hit. Puck is loose to the side of the net, so Miles is going to have to gather it, turns it up. got that swept over to Steven. So now a 2-on-1 opportunity here for the Tigers, although Littleton able to step to it. Steven had his hands skated through there. So Cruin had it at the D line, or at the blue line. Steven working below the goal line. AJ now skating across. Puck comes up toward Jared. And a pass across. Steven there gets it. He's going to throw it deep as a couple of Tigers are making a change. He's buying us some time. That's Preston fresh onto the ice, working those far side boards to hold the zone. Can't quite do it, just does come out across the blue line. Easton pokes it now, so Easton and Preston working on those far side boards to regain the zone. Preston chips it in. Colton onto the ice in front of the net there, waiting for a pass. Now steps in to try and help dig that out, but again, Littleton does get the better of that board battle and comes up the ice the other direction. Jack steps in front of the puck carrier, and then his line mate there able to poke it away. That is Josh, I believe, out there, as Colton skates to gain the zone. Throws it toward the net. Second chance is Easton. Puck still loose, so a good chance there for the Tigers. Littleton had to work to keep goal number 2 from happening. Josh turns, looks, sends it across to Jack. Jack chips it up the boards. Preston can't quite get there. Easton gets it from going too far the other direction. Puck now thrown across center ice and into the zone. Colton does the work and gets it deep into the zone for the Tigers, but can't maintain possession. And so now the puck again, breakout opportunity here for Littleton. Jack is going to have to pressure the puck carrier as Littleton did make a change. Jack gets it off the puck and now across center ice. This is going to be Easton trying to flash. Gavin on the ice for the Tigers, and that is an offsides with 4:11 in the first period. Tigers up 1-0. Trying to protect that lead or add to it is going to be Henry, Hunter, and Tate. Back on defense looks to be Jax and Marshall. Henry on the face-off dot. Puck bounces, Henry steps to it, but it gains the zone for Littleton. Marshall steps up and sends it the other way. That's going to go for an icing. So face-off in front of Landon with 4:03 in the first period. Coach talking to Marshall there, probably telling him, hey, right idea, but just a better angle on that chip up to avoid that icing for us. We had some time and space there that he maybe could have done a little bit more with, but that's okay. We'll try again. Refs don't like that drop. Puck stays where it's at, finally twisted. Littleton steps to it, but Tigers able to gather it in the corner. Tried to rim it around, but came back to that far side. Chipped up instead, and now working toward that is Henry. Twisted there by Littleton. Second player able to knock that out, so Jax gets it, sends it to Henry. A lot of traffic there in front of him. Hunter is going to get that on the boards. Gets it deep. Hunter still has it. Tries the centering pass. Now second attempt. Marshall puck took a funny bounce, so he couldn't get the shot he wanted. Great centering pass there. Gavin couldn't get it directed toward the net. And so puck the other direction. Tigers are starting to create here, settle into the game. Puck into the zone, doesn't get through traffic. Hunter skates that up to center ice. Littleton turns it back the other direction, throws it into the Tigers' end, rimmed around as they're going for a change. Steven onto the ice for the Tigers. Had the puck, but the Littleton player skates in and scoops it off his stick. Steven always keeps that pressure on and makes him rim it around the far side. Gavin turns, looks, chips that out, and that will go for, they say, an icing. No, puck died on him, so prevented the icing there. Steven working on that far end to make Littleton have to try a little bit harder on the breakout attempt there. Puck loose at center ice briefly, but Littleton steps to it first and sends it deep into the Tigers' zone. So the Tigers will work a breakout attempt. That's Jared sending it up the boards. Littleton collects. Shot that sent far side by Landon there. Jared collects again. And he's going to skate a little bit this time. Had some space. Gets it up high. Brody picks up where he left off. Now to the far side, Tate takes a swing at that one. Puck thrown into the zone by Littleton, and so the Tigers again going to have to attempt to break out with 2 minutes left in this first period. Brody with the fancy move there. Sends it toward the net. Now digging in the corners are the Tigers. Sent back toward the net by Jared. Bounces out of the zone, and so Littleton Hawks the other direction. Jared's going to have to work this one out of the corner. He's got Josh on the ice with him on the far side. That's Colton working on the near side. Center on there, Tate's going to have to pick up the pressure as Littleton's working below the goal line backhand, and that one goes wide near side. Turn and send it around the boards where the defenseman's going to have time and space, sends it toward the net, doesn't get it through traffic, deflected wide of the net far side, but they'll try again. Looks like some tired legs trapped out there with 1 minute left in this first period. Tigers just not able to get that puck out of the zone. So Jared again trying to get that around, sends it up toward Tate, finally does get it out of the blue line, out of the zone, but sent right back by Littleton. So some consistent pressure here, a little bit of trouble for this Tigers, a challenge in the first. Colton had it briefly, but finally goes up into the netting, and so some new Tigers will come onto the ice. 39 seconds in this first period. See if we can't get it out of the zone. Littleton with some sustained pressure here to end this first period. Onto the ice, hoping that we can finish a little bit stronger than we've been playing the last minute or so, is going to be AJ, Henry, and Miles up front. Henry on the faceoff, one to AJ on the sideboards. Does get deflected back into the corner where Henry picks it up, turns it the other direction, and he's got speed, so he will go. Takes that contact, but able to still maintain the puck until AJ then does step in, gets the puck below the goal line himself. He's going to look for someone out front. Sees Miles, can't get a clean shot there. Miles to AJ. AJ sends it wide of the net near side. 15 seconds now left in the period. Held and sent toward the net there by Jax. Puck is loose. Miles is there now. AJ sends it toward net off the goalie's leg and to the near corner. 4, 3, 2, and 1. That'll do it for this first period. Littleton with a good amount of pressure from about the 2 minute mark till about 39 seconds. And then the Tigers finish and have some pressure of their own there at the end of that first period. Do come away with a 1-0 lead. Goal scored by the Tigers about midway through that first period. I believe it was AJ assist over to Miles, if I'm remembering correctly. Solid effort. Littleton really moving their feet today, making things tough on the Tigers. They've got to match that energy. If they can do that, I think they've got a good game ahead of them, but they've got to keep moving. When we had our trouble there was when we had some tired legs stuck out on the ice for a little bit, couldn't get that change, and it kind of cost the Tigers. Luckily, they were able to get out of it, but got to keep the fresh legs on, keep the shift short, and get the puck out of the zone with some better possession at center ice would certainly help. The horn is sounded, the ref's blowing his whistle, indicating he'd love it if some players would meet him at center ice for a puck drop. Both teams still huddled along the boards, neither one of them wanting to be the first to break, and here they go standing up about the same time and going to send some players out. Landon headed to the other end of the ice as we start this second period. Forwards are going to be Easton. Looks like Easton, Henry, and Preston going to be up front. Preston, your near side wing. Back on defense is Marshall and Jax. Henry on the faceoff. Ref telling these near side boys to back up a little bit, and they do, so we get a puck drop. Preston wins that battle briefly, has the puck, but can't get it the right direction, so Littleton sends it into the zone. Jack's there, sends it to a streaking Easton, who taps it, and now Easton going to win that battle to pull it off the boards. They got Preston in front if they can get it there. Can't, but get the puck below the goal line, so Preston, Henry working below the goal line there. Littleton coming that other direction, so Marshall going to have to go pressure on the boards. Good contact there. And now comes up to the blue line. Puck sent to the corner. Now around the other side. Easton has it at his feet, trying to buy some space, just twists that out of the zone for the Tigers. That's going to be Henry going for a change. So we'll have new center on the ice. That's going to be Steven. As the Tigers are working in the corner of their zone here, trying to get that puck out. Steven fresh onto the ice, able to do it. Gets it up and out of the zone. So Littleton going to have to regroup, go D to D there. Easton pressuring. Littleton sends that up, and that'll go for an icing with 14:46 in the second period. Onto the ice for the Tigers. Your wings are going to be AJ and Miles. Your center is going to be Steven. Back on defense, we've got Cruin on the far side, Jared on that near side. The ref's telling those boys to back up. They do. And then skate right back forward as they are wont to do. Puck one back, Miles goes and pressures below the goal line. Now Steven coming around to these near side boards. Jared trying to hold the zone, can't. AJ comes over, makes some contact to try and slow down the puck carrier, does. Now D to D pass there for Littleton. AJ's going to pressure on the far side. A little backhand shovel. Puck held into the zone by Cruin. Knocked down by AJ, sent on net. Puck in the corner, now sent to this near corner. Littleton working their breakout. That puck goes all the way down, no icing. Jared's got the puck, going to take it below the goal. Swats that up, takes a funny bounce. So couldn't get to AJ. Steven comes through now. AJ's going to tap that through the legs of the defender to Miles. Miles going to gain the zone for the Tigers. 2-on-2 here. Miles sends at the net, and the goalie's going to eat that one up with 13:52 in the second period. 1-0 Tigers. Onto the ice for the face-off on the right end of the ice is going to be Hunter, Colton, and Gavin. Defense is going to be Jack and Josh. So Colton taking the face-off this time. Puck stays where it's at. Colton tries to turn so he can throw it at the net. Eventually able to. That does go just wide near side. Backhand attempt there by Hunter, and the goalie's going to eat that one up for another face-off now on the other side of the ice. Good couple of quality of chances for this line off that face-off. Always a good idea to throw it at the net and see what happens. So again, Colton at the dot, Gavin on his near side wing, Hunter on his far side. Littleton able to sweep that back. That's going to be Hunter coming away with it below the goal line, sends it toward the center but into traffic, and so the other direction for Littleton here. But the Tigers are skating back, preventing that breakout attempt from ever gaining the zone. Tried there, and we are going to get a penalty here as the Tiger in front of me here did come up with his elbow. I think if he'd have kept that elbow down, he might have been okay. But Colton to the box, and the Tigers will go on to the penalty kill with 13:21 in the second period. Faceoff will be in the zone to kill it. To start here is going to be Marshall and Jacks on defense. Henry and Easton are going to be your forwards, trying to kill off this power play opportunity for the Hawks. Henry gets that up and out of the zone, so good effort by Easton and Henry to make the Hawks reset, regroup. Now working in the corner. That's Marshall. able to skate it the other direction. Jax has the puck on his stick. He's going to skate it up, backhands that up into the air and out of the zone. So a good little backhand to get it down to the far side of the ice. Henry now pressuring. That comes up the boards. Marshall gathers, sends it back across the blue line. Henry able to pick the pocket of the puck carrier there and take it into the Tigers' end of the ice. Loses his skates with 1:20 left in this power penalty kill for the Tigers. Solid start to the penalty kill so far as Littleton looks to try and regain that zone, sending it to the corner where Marshall's going to go work. That's Marshall gathering. That does get sent to the side of the cage, turned up ice here. And that's AJ looking for the shorthanded goal, sends that wide near side. So AJ onto the ice up front, creating some opportunities with 45 seconds left in this penalty kill for the Tigers. AJ is out there with Brody. That comes right to AJ, and he can't collect it fast enough to get a clean shot. A little bit of a backhand there. Takes the contact on the boards, hops up as Marshall loses his feet, but he's got the help of Jax. And Brody gets his stick in there. Landon able to save that. That puck sent up toward AJ with 20 seconds left on the penalty. AJ's going to go for a change as Brody pressures the puck. Onto the ice for the Tigers is Steven with 14 seconds left on the penalty. Littleton with that guy waiting at the blue line, they're able to get it there to him, and so gain the zone with 5 seconds left on the penalty. Tigers working to kill off this penalty. And now it is 5-on-5 hockey as Gavin's going to join the attackers for the Tigers. Littleton able to come out of the boards with that. Puck jumps up in front. Tigers trying to get this out of the zone and get a little bit of a regroup here. Puck sent wide to the near side. Tigers got to catch their breath here, regroup, recollect, and get back into the system as that finally does come out of the zone. Steven going to pressure the puck carrier as Littleton sends that back deep in. Marshall's going to gather it, send it over to Jax. Jack's going to bring that across to Steven. Steven's going to carry that up through center ice, sends that at the net, and the Littleton goalie is going to go ahead and cover that one with 10:33 in the second period. Tigers able to fight off that penalty kill and survive without giving up a goal, keeping it 1-0 for the Tigers in the second period. Full strength hockey. We're going to have Cruin and Jared on defense. It's going to be Easton, looks like Henry and Preston are your forwards. Henry on the faceoff, Easton in front of the net, Preston near side. Easton skates in, gathers that puck, takes it below the goal. Looking for his teammate in front, tries to center pass there. Preston can't quite get to it, so now Preston will turn on the far side of the ice. Henry collects it, so a little bit of a weave there. Now Easton's going to have to work as Littleton sends that back into that far corner. Henry working to pin the defender there, and that is sent up and out. Jared's going to have to go get it as this Littleton team does skate. They're always going to be attacking, always moving their feet. Really good habit to have as a hockey player. Easton able to send that into the zone. Couple of boys getting twisted up behind the play there. Refs letting them do it. And Easton, who was just in that altercation, still working on the puck here near side. Has some help here from Colton, who's come on. And Preston now sweeps that. Jared gathers it, tries to send it deep, can't. So coming out the far side is Littleton. Gains the zone, sends it in deep, and that's going to be Cruin trying to get there first. Puck held below the goal line. Cruin trying to work that loose. Poked the puck over. Now Colton trying to get into the action there, and eventually the Tigers able to sweep that puck out, and this is Preston skating to gain the zone. That's an offsides. Colton just ahead of the puck carrier, so 9:09 in this second period. Tigers up 1-0. We're going to have Jared coming onto the ice, joined by Jack. This is going to be Colton taking the faceoff with Tate to his near side and Brody to his far. Colton wins that back to Jack. Jack tries to send it up the boards, but Littleton there waiting. Jack eventually does scoop it a little bit further forward, but Littleton sends it right back the other direction. collected here, and buying time is Tate. Takes it to the far end of the ice, sweeps it to the far side of the ice. Jack now having to peel that off the boards. Brody trying to gather it, and eventually it gets poked up to the point. The man at the blue line sends it deep, wide, far side. So the Tigers will work it on the near side here, trying again for a breakout attempt. And it's going to get swept below the goal line. Now, I believe that's Josh working there on defense. Able to get that up to Brody. Brody sends it over for Tate. Stick gets in the way, but Tate able to gain the zone. Jack steps up to that, tries to get it in deeper, but knocked back out. So Josh going to try it again for the Tigers. And Josh does gain the zone, leaves it for Colton. Colton collects and sends out wide near side. Jack going deep into the zone to try and hold it for the Tigers, and does. Gets it into the corner, below the goal line there, and swept to the far side. Now knocked back this direction, so a little bit of back and forth below the goal line there. Colton with the stick lift, it works. He's got that puck, and we've got a penalty. They're calling a hook. I believe that's going to go against the Tigers. I didn't see it happen, and nobody's going to the box. Oh, and now they do collect Colton, and that's going to be penalty number 2 for Colton today with 7:50 in this second period. They got Colton on a hook. So onto the ice for the Tigers. I believe Brody's out there. I think he's got Jax out there on defense with him. Hunter is on the ice up front. That's sent to the net. Puck is loose. Puck is still loose. And finally out a little bit. That goes up high and into the netting in the ceiling for a face-off. So Tigers able to survive a scare. Marshall and Jax on defense able to help out with Landon. It's Hunter up front. We are going to see a couple of new defenders in Jared and Josh. Hunter's going to stay out there on defense. That comes up to the blue line, sent in on the boards, still on the boards, as Steven, I believe, is our centerman and other forward there. So Josh turns it, sends it the other direction for Jared. Jared has it, looks up ice, tries to flip that up and does get it out of the zone. Now Hunter trying to work. 40 seconds gone in the penalty for Colton and the Tigers. Steven steps to that. As a little bit of confusion there for Littleton. They are able to regroup. Jared carries the puck carrier into the boards, and Josh able to collect it, turn it back up ice. Josh has space and speed. He's going to use both of those things to get it across center ice, throw it at the goalie, and go make a change. Onto the ice for the Tigers, I see Miles. Jared does stay for defense, and that's an offsides as well as an icing. 51 seconds left on the Colton hooking penalty in the second period. 6:41 left in the second period. Tigers will have the face-off in the zone. Taking that drop is going to be Henry with Easton to his inside. Back on defense is Marshall and Jax. Hawks able to collect the puck and get it out of the zone. Good stick there by Jax to prevent them from gaining the zone clean, and we'll have a face-off just outside the zone with 43 seconds left on the penalty. One back by the Tigers. Marshall turns, looks, send it back to Jax. Jax sends that back near side, and that's going to come up and out of the zone. The Hawks going to have to regroup, send it back in. Jax battles in the corner. He's got Miles' help. Miles turns and scoops that, sends it up ice, chips that up and down. And that will go for an icing now with 19 seconds left on the Tigers penalty. Still a 1-0 game here in this second period. Henry again to take the face off with Miles in front, on the side of him here, in front of the net. joined by Marshall. That's one back into the corner. Jax gets it, rims it around to the near side. Miles looks over his shoulder and now looks up ice. He gets it chipped up and out of the zone. Now 10 seconds left on the penalty for the Tigers. Hawks try to send that into the net, but Marshall was there waiting. Able to tap that off his stick at center ice, so Miles gathers, sends it to Jax. Jax back across ice to Henry, and Colton out of the box onto the ice for the Tigers is Gavin. Littleton with a good centering pass there, not able to connect. So they send it below the goal line here. Miles working on the boards. Littleton sends it back deep. Now Miles tries again to chip that up. Does, loses his feet. Littleton able to hold the zone there. Littleton takes it back deep. Marshall working the puck carrier below the goal line. Turns that back up the near boards. Miles now going to try and again send it up. And does. Gavin gathers. Gains his zone in a one-on-one battle. Gavin doing some great individual work here and does draw the penalty. So the Tigers going to go on the power play with 4:56 as Gavin was just working to buy some time there for his team to make that change. It works out. And the Tigers going to try and add to that 1-0 lead with their first power play of this game. 4:56 in the second period. We're going to have Jax on the ice with Cruin back on defense. Up front, it's going to be A.J. Miles, and taking the faceoff is Henry. Puck stays where it's at. Miles steps through, gathers it, holds the puck below the goal line, tries to find the Henry in front. A.J. taps that to his defenseman, sent toward the net. Now on the far side, Steven gets it, twists that. Puck stays on the boards, and so Cruin steps up trying to help Steven hold the zone. Miles able to get it. Tigers going to have to regroup here on the power play. AJ sends that across for Cruin. And good pressure by Littleton here. Now Steven going to have to step up to try and peel this puck off the boards. Steven kicking at that puck. Miles finally able to chip it forward. And Steven and Miles doing the same thing, just a little bit further up the boards. Now AJ going to float in to try and help. Puck goes into the zone, and the flashing AJ there to get it. Puck sent wide of the net. Steven going to try and work it off the boards. Littleton sends it to the defenseman. Able to hold the zone are the Tigers. Puck gets in front of the net, and now Littleton sends it down for an icing. 56 seconds left on the power play. Tigers couldn't quite get it settled down there to create any quality chances, so coach is going to send out a new line of Easton, Colton, Josh, Preston, and I think maybe Henry. So this is, I believe, that power play 1 unit and is. Henry back on defense. Colton taking the face off. Puck one back by Colton, step two by Easton. Easton sends it through some sticks, so deflected to the near side wide. Now Henry working to hold the zone, turns, has the puck on the boards. We get a whistle. And I believe this is going to be another penalty on the Hawks, and is. So it's going to be a 5-on-3 for 41 seconds as a second Hawks player is going to the bench with 3:36 in this second period. Tigers really could use taking advantage of this, find the back of the net. Again, a 1-0 game, but a great opportunity here. Coach going to leave out this power play 1 unit. Colton going to take the face off. Henry back near side D. Josh back far side D. As that's one sent across by Easton to Josh. Josh to Henry. Henry sends it at the net, sent wide. Josh is going to have to skate to hold the zone, and does. Good effort there by Josh to get there. He's got time and space on this 5-on-3. He sends it far side, near side wide. That's Henry working. Josh again able to hold his own. Colton there. I thought that was in, but just off the top bar in the one-timer. 10 seconds left on the initial penalty for the Hawks here as Easton skates, gets that across to Henry. Henry turns, tries to send it, I believe, to Josh maybe, but was just in front of him. So now Colton gathers the puck as Littleton does get one skater back here. And with 1:10 left on that second penalty, Tigers still on the power play, but having to regather the puck and hopefully regain the zone. Henry's going to settle things down, sends it across for Preston, but Littleton pesky. Colton shovels that up the boards, but not able to hold the zone. Tigers having to delay at center ice to regroup here with 45 seconds left on the power play. Josh is going to gain the zone on his own, leaves a nice little twist pass for Easton. Colton sends that toward the goalie, who's going to smother it with 37 seconds left on the power play. 2:13 in the second period. Tigers up 1-0. Line now is going to be Steven, AJ, and Miles. Our goal scorers there in AJ and Miles. Cruin back on defense with Jax. This back ref saying the boys in the backside came in a little bit quick, so we'll drop again. Puck stays where it's at. AJ steps in and collects it, turns and looks. Nobody there, so he sends it back to Jax at defense. Jax tries that D-to-D pass, a little bit dangerous, but Cruin able to get there briefly. Steven coming back and helping to hold the zone, so Cruin rotates down low, tries to get that across to AJ. Bouncy puck hard. AJ gets it on the second chance. Miles steps up on that puck that bounced off the boards. Battling in the corner here is Cruin and Steven again. Stepping in to help is Miles, going to try and dig that out. AJ waiting in front of the net. And now it's 5-on-5 hockey, so AJ looking over his shoulder, making sure nothing happens there as the skater comes from the box. Puck still stays in the corner. Finally, Miles able to come away with it, skates it below the goal line, gets it in front, but Hawks able to step through that centering pass. And so Tigers headed the other direction. Landon's was going to play that back behind the net, but had a streaking Hawks attacker, so decided to cover that instead. 1:12 in the second period. Tigers up 1-0. Onto the ice for the Tigers, Hunter, Brody, Tate, Josh, and Jack. As that puck gets swept back by the Hawks, and that's Hunter going to go pressure. Brody knocks that down. Tate can't quite reach it, and so now up the boards for the Hawks. Tigers are going to have to back check a little bit here and send that below the goal line. Under a minute to play, 50 seconds in fact. Landon skates over. That one had a chance for a second, but Landon able to cover it with 44 seconds on the clock. Coach is going to send out Jared, Cruin, Easton, Preston, and Henry to try and get us out of this second period, or maybe even put some pressure on, get the puck to the other end. This will be Henry taking the face-off. Stepping up on the face-off there was Easton. Easton sends it up the boards, takes a funny bounce, so he couldn't quite get around the player to get it himself. Jared collects, turns and looks, tries to send it off the near side boards, had the Littleton player step in front of it before he could. Now room to back below. Jared pokes that around for Cruin. Cruin's going to skate it up ice, taps that forward to Preston. Preston gets the pass across to Henry, and off of Henry's stick there with now 13 seconds. Littleton able to head the other direction, but Jared knocks him off the puck with 8 seconds. Preston gets it toward the net, 4-3. We'll have one last face-off with 3 seconds in this period. Henry going to take the drop. Again, short time on the clock. That puck gets smothered right where it's at, and that'll do it for this second period. Tigers go into the third ahead 1-0. We'll see if the Tigers can play with the lead here. They have had moments this season, though they're a much different team now than they were at the beginning of this year, but where they've had the lead and just couldn't protect it. I would say it's something they've been working on, and so we go into this third, I feel good about our chances. Boys just got to keep their feet moving, make smart passes. Early in that first, I feel like we were just kind of twisting the puck into an area, hoping that our teammate might be there. Through that second, I feel like we got that a bit more under control, and we're making better passes. Still a little bit to clean up there, and if we can maintain consistent possession, that's really going to be the difference in this third period. Littleton's advantage here is they are just a team of skaters that keep their feet moving. And so every time the Tigers think maybe they have a passing lane, all of a sudden there's a flashing Littleton player there cutting it off. So really trying to figure out the pace of the game here are the Tigers, but they're doing it from the front. And so to start this third period is going to be Henry, Easton, and Preston. Back on defense, it's going to be Jax and Marshall. We'll have Preston on that far side wing, Henry taking the face off, Easton on your near side wing. Landon standing tall in the nets, looking for a blank on the day. Henry turns, tries to send that back to his defense, but the Littleton player again jumps that and gains the zone. Working on the far side is Marshall. Henry steps in trying to sweep that out, does finally. Into the waiting Hawks player, finally poked forward there, and Easton able to carry the puck out of the zone. He throws it deep into the corner. Easton working below the goal line, trying to get that puck. It does squirt out, and Littleton now sweeps it the other direction, back to the blue line where Marshall was waiting. Marshall sends that back into the zone. Tigers turn on the near side boards, try to find the center, but Littleton was the team there to get it. They chip it up the boards. Jax is going to go back. He's got plenty of time, turns and looks. Sends that to East. That was Preston who tried to find Colton fresh onto the ice for the Tigers. Preston goes for the change, so Miles also onto the ice. That'll be Miles on the boards, and just can't handle the puck there. Jared on for defense. So Jared and Jax are your defensemen. That's Easton still flashing. He's going to look for a chance to change here. Colton and Miles are your other forwards. As that's sticked in the middle, Miles taps that. Colton able to gather. Easton goes for the change. AJ onto the ice. Colton gains the zone. Now going to take it deep into the... Oh, and he had AJ flashing, but just missed him on the pass there. So Jared collects, tries to send it up through center ice, gets it to Colton. Colton twists that to AJ. AJ taps it for a clean zone entry for the Tigers. Littleton's going to send it around far side. No Tigers there. They tried to sweep it out. AJ had a stick on it, but just came out of the zone, and now Cruin losing his feet, so Colton having to flash back and help out the Tigers there. Colton sends that to AJ at center ice. AJ taps it forward, but again, Littleton there. Jared having to pressure the puck carrier, and that's going to be a hooking on Jared. So Littleton will head to the power play with 13:53 in this third period. Jared had the puck carrier wrapped up, so he's going to have to spend 2 minutes in the sin bin. Tigers killing off their third penalty of this game. Coach is going to see if Steven, Jax, Hunter, and Marshall are able to kill 2 minutes for us, or at least the start of those two. Steven sweeps that back into the corner, turned back up the boards by the Tigers. Steven's going to pressure at the blue line, sent in front, but now wide side and slapped around to the far side by Littleton. Again, back to that blue line. D-to-D pass works. He's got time, and Landon will glove that down for a face-off. Tigers sending out fresh four in Easton, Cruin, Henry, So that's swept back into the corner. Cruin gets it, turns it back up near side. Easton can't get it up the boards. Henry tries. Cruin tries again. Puck below the goal line. Littleton sweeps it back, turns and gets a centering pass there. Puck loose, but eventually Landon able to cover that up. 1:26 left on the penalty to Jared. And these Hawks have an opportunity here. They're hungry to get that puck in the back of the net, get the equalizer. Tigers able to keep it from happening so far, but they got to keep their feet moving. Henry again wins that to the sideboards. Cruin turns. Henry chips it up. Littleton there gets it into Henry's skates, but he recollects. And so they're just working it up and down the boards, trying to create the space. Is Littleton. They get it on the backside, but Landon able to eat that puck. 1:11 left on the penalty to Jared. Coach is going to try a new four to see if we can't get the puck out of the zone. It's going to be AJ joined by Brody. Back on defense is Jackson Marshall. Landon earning his paycheck today. AJ takes that faceoff, wins it to that far side board. Marshall working below the goal line, pinches off the puck carrier. Now Jack's going to rim that around. AJ jumps it, and AJ's got a 2-on-1 opportunity here. Trying to work his way back to the inside, gets a shot, and the goalie has to cover that with 52 seconds left in this third period. Tigers creating shorthanded opportunities. This will be AJ on the faceoff again with Brody to the inside. Jack's on your near side D, Marshall on your far side D. 12:44 left in the third. AJ slaps that toward the net, bounces back to him, tries to sweep it back forward, but into the skates of the player in front of him. Now AJ finishes the contact there. Jax picks up the puck, gets it across ice to Brody. Brody can't collect that, but does chip it forward, and AJ again gets that across center ice shot on net. 34 seconds left on the penalty for the Tigers. Littleton's going to have to regroup and try and get it up ice. Nice stretch pass there to the waiting man at the blue line. They do gain the zone, but offsides, say the refs. So with 24 seconds left in this period, 24 seconds left on the penalty, 12:17 left in the third. Coach sends out Steven and Hunter to finish off this penalty kill for the Tigers. Cruin on defense, joined by Josh. Littleton wins that back, throws it into the zone. Josh gets it, chips it up the boards. 15 seconds left now. Steven able to pressure and keep that puck going the right direction. Finally does come back up the boards. Josh has it, sweeps it to the near side where Hunter jams it up the boards further. Steven able to keep that knocked down, and the Tigers are back full strength. Fresh onto the ice for the Tigers is going to be Gavin as Steven works, gets it to Gavin. Gavin collects it along the board, centering pass to Stevens, tries the redirect, flashing is Hunter, back in there for Hunter. Puck they say is loose and now covered with 11:32. Great opportunity there for the Tigers. Hunter had a chance, just couldn't quite get the power on it he wanted, but there was a chance there almost to sneak that underneath the goalie. So good pressure coming off the penalty. Onto the ice for defense is Jax and Marshall. Steven going to take the face-off with Hunter on his near side, Gavin on his far side. Puck stays where it's at, comes back to the defense now. Marshall throws it back deep for the Tigers. Littleton rims that around. Jax gets it, sends it wide of the net far side, so now Marshall's going to have to step to that. Taps it back along the boards. Littleton swings it back out to him. He kicks it forward to the waiting Littleton Hawk. And so Tigers working to regroup. Jax runs into the ref, so has to kind of just get it out of the zone there. This is Gavin working along the boards. Steven sweeps in next to him. And Steven just going to flip that toward the goalie, who gloves it down. Goalie plays that out. A little bit of a dangerous play there as Hunter stepped up to it. Now Marshall going to send that toward the net, deflected, and goes wide. So Tigers able to keep some pressure here. Jax keeps the zone. Henry there working. Henry on the ice for the Tigers now, as is Brody. And that's Brody sending it at the net. Goalie going to eat that one up with 10:26 in the third period. We'll get the rest of that line change. Gavin's going to go. Tate's going to come. Back on defense, we're going to have Cruin and Jared. So forward lines, Tate, Brody, and Henry. Brody on the near side, Henry on the far side. Or Hunter on the near side, Brody, Tate on the far side. That skips over Jared's stick. And all the players overskate it, so Henry turns, collects it, gathers his zone for the Tigers. Tries to throw it at the net, can't. Now Brody going to step in and help out along the boards. Tate there, sweeps it out, turns, looks, shoots. Goalie able to get that off to the far side. Tate swats it below the goal line there. That's Brody now, has space, sends it to Cruin, who takes the shot, and a good glove save by the goalie with 9:50 in the third. Tigers still ahead 1-0, riding that first period goal. Josh on the ice for the Tigers with Jack back on defense. Easton, Colton, and Preston will be your forwards. Preston on the faceoff. Easton near side, Preston far side. As Preston gathers that, sends it back to Jack. Jack now just going to send it up the boards and deep, where Colton's going to work on it below the goal line with Easton. Easton working it to the near side now. Flashing there was Preston to try and twist that back to Easton. Puck comes up the boards and out. And that is an icing with 9:30 in the third period. We'll have a face-off in front of the Tigers' goal-scoring net. It would be good to get a bit of an insurance goal here, build a buffer in this third period. We're in the right spot to do it, and we have the guys on the ice that can, which is pretty much any of them. Colton works. Puck is loose on the far side of the ice. Easton steps up, swats it. Colton gathers, trying to work, create space. Colton with the backhand there into the goalie. Tigers are going to work to recollect. Held the zone there, battling on the boards. He does pop out. Now center ice. Easton loses his stick. They say no, the puck was deflected, so Tigers going to have to collect it in the far end and bring it up ice. Not able to maintain the puck. That is an offsides. Coach going to send out fresh 5 to try and get it down to the other end. Stephen Miles, AJ will be up front. Jax and Marshall back on defense. Stephen ready for the face-off. Puck dropped, puck stays. A bunch of players trying to find it, and AJ comes away with it. Scoots that puck up ice. Backhand shot goes high of the net. Sent up toward the blue line. Littleton able to get it out. Good stick there by Marshall to knock it off the puck carrier. Easton working behind. It's Steven working behind, able to get the puck the other direction. AJ tries to gather, doesn't. Littleton able to chip that one up the boards to himself to create an opportunity here. Nice pass across, but kept out of the net by Landon. Sent to the far side. Puck now below the net is Marshall. Marshall turns it back this direction, sends it to Jax. Jax chips it, but can't quite get all of it. Now up to AJ. AJ trying to tap that out, but can't quite get it off the boards. Backhand there by Steven just to get it out of the zone for the Tigers, and the Tigers going for a change with 7:50 in this third period. That'll be Hunter pressuring the puck carrier. A puck sent into the zone. Gavin kicking the puck forward. Now Henry trying to lift that to gain the zone. Gavin looks, sends it up. Littleton there waiting. Henry gets it, sends it back toward Jared. Jared's working in the zone, brings it up along the boards. And a good lift there of the stick sends Jared tumbling, and the Littleton player creates an opportunity there with quality effort. puck below the goal line. Jared trying to get that back up out of the zone again here. And the puck is on those boards, twisted back. Landon sends it near side. So Tigers just again trying to get it out of the zone. Is a good effort there by the Hawks. Finally, Henry able to gain the zone with some speed. Loses his skates in the corner there, and so Littleton gathers the puck and coming the other direction. Jared able to knock that puck off the puck carrier's stick, but the second Littleton player steps in, tries a wraparound there, but getting in the way are the Tigers. Puck sent up, collected and out of the zone by Gavin, who sends the puck toward Colton. Colton has it, pestered there, but Colton and Gavin working. Puck below the zone, or below the goal, sent up near side, held there by Colton. Collapsed on by a couple of players. Gavin tips it now back to Colton. Colton going to send it toward the net where I believe that's Brody was battling in front. And that is Brody in the corner taking the hit there. Marshall on defense with Cruin on the far side. And that's going to be Cruin going to get the puck just under 6 minutes. Cruin losing his skates now. So the boys maybe need to look at getting some skates sharpened before the game tomorrow. That's Marshall there getting the puck up over to Brody. Brody sends it into the skates of the player in front of him. Pass comes out the center. Hawks have it. He's going to pass it up off the boards to his player up front. That's swatted out of the zone. That's taps it, leaves it for Colton. And knocked out of the play there are the Tigers. So the puck carrier coming through. Jared able to sweep that off the puck carrier's stick. Puck can't get through traffic there. Tigers swarming. That puck goes wide near side, so Jared turning and trying to get it up the boards does, but Littleton again there waiting. Colton now just trying to bat that out of the zone. Finally does get it across the blue line. Tate going to pressure here under 5 minutes in this game. That's tapped, and the Hawks largely going to go for a change, minus a couple, as do most of the Tigers forwards. Jared gets that, sends it up to... Looks like on the ice for the Tigers right now is going to be Hunter near side, or is that Steven near side? That goes up into the net behind play on the shot that was taken by Easton. So it looks like Easton, Steven onto the ice for the Tiger, Preston as well. So Easton, Steven, Preston up front, Josh and Jax back on defense. 4:36 in the third period. Tigers up 1-0. They're going to say that puck's coming all the way out of the zone. So Steven on the faceoff. Puck stays where it's at. Steven able to then sweep it forward. Easton trying to battle through some skates. Puck comes back out of the zone. Steven there. Looked like a stick up in his arms, but they let him play. They kind of had some of those where if it wasn't too awful of a penalty, they're just kind of letting him play a little bit. That puck does come up the near boards. Turned and send it back deep was Littleton. Josh looks, chips it up the boards to his line mate who can't quite get it out to anybody waiting. And now finally Steven able to gather the puck, gain the zone. Couple of Tigers going for a change. Steven sends that to the glass behind the net. Easton working on the near side there. Jax gets it, sends it across. Now up to Easton, who makes a nice move. Trying to work through a couple of attackers. Miles on the ice for the Tigers. Easton headed off for a change. Marshall and Jared are your defenders. AJ fresh onto the ice there, twists that into the zone for the Tigers. Glove down there by Miles. Left for Brody, I believe. Scratch at Henry. So Henry, AJ, Miles on the ice for your Tigers forwards. That's Henry working there. Jared able to hold the zone briefly and now does get deeper. Henry working in the corner. Henry able to turn, create space, gets it in front of the net, jams at the net. 2:57 left in this third period. Tigers are really working to try and put in that second goal here. This line of Henry, AJ, and Miles has been effective today. They are the goal scorers. We'll see if we can keep up the effort here. Henry going in for the faceoff. Henry gets that. Now AJ steps to it, turns, trying to find space, but just can't control the puck, so Littleton able to get that out. That's Marshall steering the puck carrier out. He turns it into Henry, who was there waiting. So Henry's going to go. Puck goes in. That looked off sides, but they weren't going to call it. I think Henry held up thinking he was going to get the whistle. Didn't. So Henry working still as both those wings go for a change. Colton onto the ice now with Hunter. Colton turns, sends it high of the net, into the netting behind. Face-off with 2:17 in the third period. I would imagine if the Hawks can get a breakout here, we'll see their goalie go for the man advantage and have 6 skaters. They are bringing that back out of the zone again. They must have said that wasn't deflected. So we'll keep an eye on the goalie for the Hawks, as that's one back, collected by Gavin, twists it to the boards into the zone, but can't hold it, can the Tigers. So now into the zone. Goalie looks like he's staying with 2:04 left in this period. Puck comes around, Tigers have it, sent up and out of the zone. Gavin skating, he sends it in deep. Takes a funny bounce, comes out on that far side. Hawks able to collect, but now Colton takes it away. Colton tried to create a backhand opportunity, and the Hawks able to get the zone, throw that at Landon, but an easy save for him with 1:38 in this second period. Looks like Littleton gonna leave it as a 5-on-5. We do have a timeout, so we'll see what happens coming out of that timeout. 1:38 in this third period. Tigers up 1-0. Only goal in this game was that first period goal. There was a battle on the near side boards, twisted out to AJ. AJ able to get it across to, I believe it was Miles. If I'm remembering right, that was all the way back in the first period. It's fair if I forgot, but AJ twisted to the eventual goal scorer. And so Tigers have really had to work since then. A couple opportunities for Littleton that Landon was able to stand tall to. I would imagine Coach is going to put out those kiddos that have shown some flash and the ability to put the pressure on, get the puck, get it out of the zone cleanly. And so just looking for energy, really, to finish this game. On the ice for the Tigers, AJ, Easton, Henry. Back on defense is going to be Jared and Josh. It is an empty net for Littleton, so they have 6 skaters on the ice in the zone. Tigers are going to be looking for that empty netter. Ref lets the suspension build, finally does drop the puck. One back by the Tigers. Josh goes and gets it below the goal line, swept to this near side by Littleton. AJ's got time as he pokes that up, but the Littleton player there waiting, sent near side. And so back now, puck rimmed around, back below the goal line here. Josh is going to go try and sweep that to Jared. Does. Jared turns and twists. That gets again held at the blue line, but AJ almost able to sweep that out, and now out of the zone. Henry working, AJ trying to squirt that up the boards, does. Now Henry turns and chips that up the boards. Under a minute to play in this game. Puck comes across, AJ tips that up. Doesn't want to get caught, so not pursuing too much, because from there they're probably not going to score that last one. AJ's got a chance here. Sends it into the legs of the puck carrier, and now he's going to have to back check with 38 seconds left in this third period. The empty net action is always exciting as Landon has to fight that off. AJ again pressuring the puck, now helped out by Josh with 25 seconds left in this third period. This is Henry trying to, or excuse me, that was Easton trying to scoop the puck up. Couldn't do it, puck goes wide far side. Jared gets it up the boards. That's Easton sweeping it down the ice with 10, 9, 8. We will have an icing with 5 seconds left on the clock for the Tigers. One last chance here for Littleton to try and win this faceoff and throw something past Landon, but man, he's been standing tall today. Trying to kill this last 5 seconds is going to be Stephen Colton. Henry. I believe Josh staying on defense for the Tigers and Marshall on the near side for the Tigers. 5 seconds left to play. Ref wants a new faceoff man, so they'll send Colton in. Puck stays, Littleton flashes in, and that will do it. Tigers able to hang on to this lead. Would have loved to have seen a bunch more goals, but a win is a win. They don't ask how many, they just, how is it? They don't ask how, they ask how many. So start to finish, good game for the Tigers there. Get the lead, protect the lead. Did what they needed to do today. We'll come back tomorrow. We'll be at World Arena against the Mountain Select squad. I believe that game is at 2 o'clock. It'll be a 12:45 arrival for these boys. Again, if you're planning to show up for that game, do plan for traffic as there is a concert at the big World Arena. So getting to the ice hall might take a little bit of extra time. Have a great rest of your day.